Hey everyone, this is Tappers here once again, and welcome back to the Kirby Superstar Let's Play. We are now heading off to the 6th sub-game in the series. This is Milky Way Wishes, a relatively long, lengthy adventure out into the Milky Way, as you can see. As, yes, we are playing Kirby, by the way. But we're off at the Fountain of Dreams, and apparently there's a crisis taking place in Popstar. On the year triple question mark, well, spoilers, it's actually triple sevens. No, I should not be making Persona 5 references. The Sun and Moon are fighting. Spoiler, that's Mr. Shine, Mr. Bright, except we don't really know for sure, because who knows, maybe they're just really pissed off that they've been losing to angry Kirby. No, not even that. So how are we supposed to stop the night and day system from fluctuating so easily? Well, this jester bouncing on a ball, clearly not one of the Koopa kids. I don't even remember his name. We need to go seek out this Nova, who, if we find 7 stars, does this sound familiar at all? 7 stars in order to grant a wish to stop the fighting. So we're heading off to space where all dreams come true, and we need to stop them from fighting. But first, is this your first time playing Milky Way Wishes? You can't see it, but sure, I guess it is. So this is what we get to see. We get to see a guide.
Oh no!
I am not sorry at all. We can't copy abilities, but don't worry, there is something called the Copy Essence Deluxe. I think it's what the actual name is. If you find these in the planets that we're about to explore, we get these powers forever. And when we hit start or the X button, we can go and select different abilities and cycle through them, which is pretty cool. Of course, we have to actually find all of them first, but that's the main mechanic of Kirby Superstar. As we toss away Hammer, because that's totally a good idea, but actually it's pretty strong, but that's besides the point. But yeah, it's time for Milky Way Wishes, as we got to stop the Sun and Moon from fighting, because, well, we can't stop them ourselves, because I think they're way too try hard at themselves. I don't even know what I'm talking about, but yeah, we're showing off the 7 planets that we have to go through. But are there really 7 planets? Well, spoiler, there's this tiny mystery planet that's right here. In my normal playthroughs back then, this would be the one area that I always miss out. And if you notice all the enemies that we're seeing here, it pretty much should tell you automatically what we're gonna find here. But not before seeing kind of some weirdness of day and kind of nocturnal background of no background at all. I'm sounding very redundant as I say that, but take a damage boost off attack for the win, and we get the copy ability out in space, where we can easily die for not trying hard enough. But now let's head to the actual proper stages. We're first going to go off to Sky High, not because it's very close, but it actually has some really good abilities, and I'm totally not doing this because it's based on what the speedrun does, but also because we have the copy ability of the copy ability, we can actually copy abilities like we would, sort of, but with the power, but you get the idea. We're not going to have ice for very long, because inside here we have the almighty jet ability, or the jet power, and we can actually get through some of this current areas, and then we actually need this in order to get this next power up. As soon as we stop bonking off of clouds and other blocks of variously high degree. But fortunately, unlike the other runs before this, I actually get this in relatively no time, which is the second attempt. Also, we get rudely interrupted by wheelies that just greet me by flattening me like a curb sandwich, because I got run over on the curb. But I don't even know what I'm talking about. Now, one thing about Sky High is that there's not a whole lot to this world, honestly. Other than that long stretch that we were in, this area is all that's left, and how I dodged all those cutters, I'm not exactly sure. But now I just have to go through this maze of doors until I find the last power-up here. Now, there's 19 power-ups, at least I think it is, in this sub-game, but not all the areas have equal number here. This one happens to have 3, and it's a speedrunner's, I don't know if I want to say wet dream, I shouldn't even be saying stuff like that, but you have jet, you have wheel, and you have wing. All of these very essential in a, what's it called, speedrun. Although it does lack the almighty plasma ability because it's not in this one. It's actually in one of the last ones I end up going to, as we have a familiar foe in Crackle that we need to deal with in order to get the Star Spirit Crystal Star, Paint Star, Star Sticker thing. And yeah, rudely interrupted by getting comboed by his cycling cloudy rain, whatever you want to call it, but that's kind of besides the point. One thing I noticed is that most of the bosses in Milky Way Wishes, or at least from the planets, are from Great Cave Offensive. I shouldn't be spoiling it, but I kind of felt like I needed to. And yeah, that's the power of Jet. I mean, I really shouldn't be mentioning it as if this is something new, but yeah, we've got our first star. Naturally, because we were in the sky, it's going to be a white or a teal, light blue star or whatever. But now, typically I would just go to the nearest planet just to save time and all that. But I decided to go to Floria, which may as well be Green's light, or I should say the what do you want to call it? The Oracle of Season, or the Star of Seasons in a way, because just by going through these doors, you actually cycle through the seasons, which I really do like about this world, or I mean this planet. And just by colliding with Chili, I just froze myself while I'm in the ice power-up. But I'm not really sure how that works, because you'd think ice would be resistant to itself, but maybe that's the only thing that ice is good for if we're talking about Pokemon logic. Seriously, Game Freak, please make it resistant to water or something. I don't even know if I said that right. But we got the ice power up. Now, if we go here during the winter, we have the lake that's frozen over, and a door will appear, because naturally you wouldn't be able to see it in any other season, technically. But also, it's best that we keep it in winter, because we can actually get through a majority of the stage close to the end, because that lake's frozen over, and then this tree is cut down due to hibernation. Well, not even that. But the last power up actually is right there, which I always thought looked kind of weird, but because of the seasons, the tree kind of decayed on the inside and a bit on the outside. Though that one part where you see the stars kind of like that just kind of looks a little odd, but it's honestly not a big deal. But we're already, I mean, this is only the second planet, actual planet we've gone to, and we've already got 7 power-ups. So we're not quite halfway there, but we're pretty close. But as you'd expect, being in a woods-like area, or the grassland-type area, we have Twin Woods again, which technically is one of the bosses from Revenge of Meta Knight. So, also another spoiler, there's actually 2 bosses from that sub-game, so we get to deal with that, at least. And of course, the spiky, non-edible worms of fishing purposes that's... I'm not even sure what I'm saying, but yeah, just uppercutting some trees and we're all good. But we get the grassland star that will naturally be green, and yeah, hooray for Squishy Kirby, as we got our second star. So now we're actually going to head to one of the nearest planets, or no, I was about to go to Kavos, but I decided any minute now, I'm actually going to head to the resident Aqua planet, which has the Orange Ocean Aqua music, whichever level it actually is. Fortunately, we get to hear this again, and actually it may as well be Grape Garden because it's not completely orange like the area we visited early on in Revenge of Night. Oh, also get to show off Fighter Kirby's grappling moves that you would see in fighting games, because tournaments, don't you know? But no, not even that. This area is a little weird. Like, you got these random currents that are coming from an area that's at the ground but is not at the ground. I mean, no, actually I'm being stupid. Naturally it's suction that's actually trying to suck me into the bottomless abyss. But we got our first one, Parasol, which is always a joy to see, especially since I've said that it's better than Adventure and Nightmare in Dreamland, obviously. And fortunately, because we have Jet, we can use this cannon, which isn't exactly necessary because all it does is send us to an area where we can get 1-up, a pumpkin, and some more ice cream. Which, I don't even care that it's mid-September. I think it's still pretty cool to enjoy ice cream whenever you can. Especially gourmet ice cream, or specialty ice cream, but whatever. And then I have to say that I do like Aqualus a lot better, or Aquaria, I don't really know if there's multiple versions of this name. But I like this level, or world, a lot better than the other two, in a way, because it has multiple different screens instead of like one long one, and then you get to the end, even if it does switch through seasons. And then with Sky High, where it was that one long screen and then a maze, which was real annoying. So this is one of the better ones in my opinion. Though it does have, well, fish that just anti-air you, and he's a hero fish, so there's that. But suddenly we have Meta Knight's posse, or knights to say no, because they just cock-blocked me and all that. But you don't want to miss this door right here, because we actually get another one of our power-ups. I'm sure you won't be able to guess what this one is with all the enemies we're seeing. I mean, it's going to be so hard to determine. Now, what I really should have done was I should have grabbed the wing power-up to break through all these blocks, which I think realized right here, because you can just slam through them. If you didn't have a power-up, then you wouldn't really be able to get through it, because, well, actually, assuming you didn't miss Parasol, well, you'd be able to just work with that. And yeah, we see a judo enemy here, which is kind of a bit odd because also do the weird U-turn maneuver against Ju-Kid there. And enemies that kill themselves on spikes, because I guess you can puncture yourself by touching the spike, or the side of the spikes, but I don't even know why I'm mentioning that. But I'm not the biggest fan of some of the placements of some of these enemies. Like, I mean, already get two enemies kind of like grouped together, and then you had the one that can just kind of hit you very easily, like when I was trying to get out and all that. But that's not a problem. And check out this Berserker dude. I mean, holy crap, he went from 0 to 50 mile an hour on me in like no time. And this is also something that should be known when underwater, is that there are certain power-ups that you can use while underwater, but I don't know if I would even advise doing that. Like, the sword feels a little unwieldy, and so does the Parasol. I guess the hammer as well. I honestly prefer having no ability while underwater. That way you can kind of get through and you feel alright and happy just swimming with your goggles, swimming goggles and flippers, which Kirby clearly is wearing right now, except he really isn't. And if I've never mentioned this before, but I could not hold my breath underwater much, if at all. I could hold it maybe for a few seconds, but that is about it. But yeah, Aquaris was probably one of the longer planets in the Milky Way Wishes, and we follow up with seeing Fatty Whale once more in his pipe-smoking old elderly form. But I don't even know if I'd say elderly because he has a sailor uniform. But that's not exactly unusual because, I mean, he could swear like a sailor, except he doesn't. But I'm having less of an issue with Fatty Whale this time, mostly because he doesn't pop up in the middle and do that stupid backflip whenever I'm in the middle. But we also didn't see his other move, which, well, we still have another chance to see it in a later sub-game, but it's not that time yet. But we've got 3 stars out of the 7 so far, and we've got at least half the abilities right now. So next time we'll be visiting one of the remaining planets. This has been Tapper's, and I'll see you again next time.